Now, if you're wondering what you should be doing in your garden this weekend, well, it's a good idea to get control of insect pests. Now, there's pretty much two types. There's the chewing and the sucking. Now, the chewing are caterpillars, and they can be wreaking all sorts of damage to your favourite plant's foliage, so it's important you get control of them now. Controlling these pests so they won't do damage to your favourite plants can be done avoiding toxic chemicals, which is great news. Dipel is an amazing naturally occurring bacterium-based product that's not toxic to humans but incredibly effective in controlling pretty much all types of chewing grubs. It's a powder that when mixed with water and sprayed over the foliage activates millions of bacteria that leave the caterpillars with no appetite at all. Now, it's important to remember that you're spraying a living concoction over the foliage, so you can only apply on dry days, and the first sign of rain will let the rain go through, it's going to wash it off and you'll have to reapply again. Now, this treats caterpillars really effectively. You have to remember that caterpillars are also ultimately butterflies in the garden, particularly in springtime. So spray the plants you want to protect, but let them have some of the other plants in the garden and you'll enjoy butterflies this spring as well. Sucking pests are the vampires of the garden, and like vampires, they're often put off by garlic. But springtime can see an explosion of populations of the more common suckers like aphids. Now, it's very important that you break the population growth cycle with aphids. So what you want to do is treat them with a systemic insecticide, something like Confidor. Now, what it does is it goes through the leaves into the sap and it's sucked up by the insects, and this controls them for up to 14 days, breaking the whole cycle. And the great thing about it is it's a low toxicity formula, and because it's water-based, it breaks down naturally in the environment. Now, you can buy this as a concentrate or ready to use in a spray bottle. Simply spray it over the foliage on a dry day and the plant will absorb it into the sap all by itself. Now, it's important to note that whilst it's low toxicity, it will affect bees and ladybirds, so avoid spraying when they're most active, and this is usually the middle of the day. And avoid spraying on windy days, and always protect your hands with gloves. Now, one way you can control snails and slugs in the garden without broadcasting snail pellets all the way through is to use snail baits, but put them inside tubes. Now, all you do, literally, is just block one end of the tube, take the pellets, slide them in like this, and then pop the tubes into the garden bed. Now, the benefit of this is the snails and slugs get in and they can eat the pellets. You can control getting rid of them really easy. But most importantly, pets like cats and dogs will not be able to get to the pellets. It's a really safe way to control snails and slugs in the garden.